Wow, my oh my, is it great to be an Arsenal fan right now on the 22nd of October 2025. I gotta tell you. By the way, you guys are going to notice that the person sitting to, to the right of me is not Cal, it's
No.
Seb, and I will give
Hello.
him a proper introduction in a second. Just so you know, this is still Cal's podcast. He's just away on holiday. There's no controversy going on here. This is not AFTV. We're good. Just to clarify, everyone, so we don't start any rumors. Cal's just away in Japan, enjoying his holiday, and so I'm just going to let him kick up his feet, and not have to worry about talking about this club, even though it was a great week to talk about the club. Now to my right is Seb. If anybody knows Seb, everybody watches the Football Terrace. Seb is one of my favorites to work with on the Terrace because Seb and I share very similar opinions on the football club. So, but
Yeah, we do.
go and check him out. His channel is Seb Shirts. I put that in the description. I put that also on the thumbnail. Guys, go check him out. He is very, very common sense. He doesn't like BS either. But anyway, everybody, Seb, how's it going? Great to have you here today.
I'm good. Sorry, you're gonna have to put up with some English tones in today's podcast, but gonna try and talk some sense today, and yeah, I can't wait to get going.
Yeah, good. Yeah, because there's been a lot of BS being spoken about Arsenal. I think it's mainly due to insecurities that, first of all, like, the stages of grief, right?
Yeah.
So first
Yeah.
we were getting denial that Arsenal could win the league. Like, I just don't think they have the bottle, the mentality to do it, all the stuff, all the banter. They've never won it. Why are they going to win it now? And now that all of a sudden Arsenal's starting to pull away and their consistency is really showing, and not just that, the performances are starting to show. As we will talk about, was what happened in this game last night for Seb, this morning for me. Like, now all of a sudden we have to change the narratives now. Now Arsenal is ruining football. Because people now can't turn to, they'll bottle it. Now we're going to have to start to try to throw or put Arsenal's name through the mud and say that their ways of winning are not valid. So we got so much to talk about today. That's going to be the main course when we get to it. Just giving you a little bit of a sneak peek. But first of all, Seb, you weren't really on the terrace when we finished the Fulham game. I want to go back to the Fulham game. What was your kind of thoughts on that one? It was a 1-0 victory. Again, set piece again, Ole, Leandro Trossard always comes up with a good goal. Like, what you thought about that game?
I think it was just a very typical away performance. Most sides in the league were going to go and face that. It is stark for me, considering that was a place we dropped points. We haven't won there since 2023. It's just the grit and determination to get through that low block. I think even listening to some Fulham interviews, they were saying how good we were, and they were surprised how well we passed the ball around. But it's just one of those things. You need the clutch goal, and people praise Liverpool for getting clutch goals in, but then for us, it's either luck. But it's not luck when you are consistently scoring these goals. We've got 16 more set-piece goals than anybody else. It is a way of scoring goals, and the fact we get criticism from it is absurd. It's like we found something we're really good at, but all of a sudden that's such a bad thing. I don't think the performance against Fulham was that bad. It's just Fulham are a very good team, especially at home. They sit very much in a low block. They were very dangerous in that first half. So to come away with the 3 points, that's 3 points on from last season as well when you look at overall points. So I couldn't complain about that at all. I'd rather us make fans bored and get the 3 points than entertain them. I could not care less about entertaining rivals as long as we get the 3 points. But yeah, it was a gritty performance. We didn't really let another shot on target at all. So that's 3 games in a row. We haven't had another shot on target against us. So I think that was a good professional performance. We need those in the season. That's a game last season where we struggled to actually kill the game off. So the fact that we're getting into these games, especially with the Newcastle game, it's another game now where I think the Newcastle game was a turning point for a lot of people. Coming in at last minute goal against a club we are notoriously unable to get over the line against. I think that did scare a lot of people when Gabriel comes up and scores another goal. But yeah, I think it overall was a professional performance, and I was quite happy with the game overall. You're not going to get scintillating football against a team that's so good defensively and sits in a low block like that anyway. So if that's what you were expecting, then I don't know what football you watch, honestly.
Yeah, no, my sentiments exactly. And I just kind of want to go over a few of the narratives following that game. And you brought up a lot of them right now, especially the part about, Fulham setting up in a low block. But I also kind of felt like the early parts of this game, at least the start of it, I thought Fulham actually were bright in certain respects. I thought Harry Wilson definitely was threatening. I thought he got the best of Calafiori in some moments, especially in the first half. There was the one when King, what's his first name? King.
Josh King.
Josh
The
King.
youngster. Yeah.
He tested Raya, like that shot that literally Raya had to literally like last second tip over. I had my heart in my mouth for a little bit. It was a little bit classical Arsenal Fulham, and at that point in the game, I'm like, I'd just be happy to come out here with anything. I just want to beat them. Like this game is, they're always up for it. It's in London. It's a London derby, and I was just like, come on, boys, let's get this. Yeah, 0-0 at the break, just like it was this morning. And yeah, Leandro Trossard pops up with the goal, and this is the narrative that I don't necessarily love. And I was sitting on the post match on the terrace, and Hassam, Liverpool fan, of course, and now you should keep in mind that's a very important piece of information, who he supports and the context of the season. And he just comes in to our post match being like, guys, this is not an attack on Arsenal. Fulham are doing it too to try to get out of the Arsenal thing. But I just feel like, you guys are ruining football. The beautiful game that we used to know and love is now being destroyed. Like literally, I wanted to go to sleep. I thought that was unexciting. I think you guys are finding the most boring ways to win football matches. And I'm just like, oh no, Arsenal won. Liverpool aren't going to win the league like we thought it was. That's the way I see that. Like,
I think
and yeah,
the crux of it for me is really there was flaws in our system the last couple of seasons, but now the things they were saying about us, they can't necessarily get away with saying anymore because it's just incorrect. So they're scared that we're going to win a league. So they're already trying to find something to say at the end of the season, go, well, you did win a league, but you won it in a boring way, you won it in a cheating way, or whatever they're going to say. So they're getting it in early. But before they were moaning about how we were soft, we're not soft anymore, we're not soft touch at all anymore. They were complaining we didn't have any squad depth. We have the best squad depth in the league now. They were saying we didn't have a number 9 to win a league. We have a proper out 9 now. So it's just jealousy. Let's be honest. Liverpool would have loved a set piece goal against Manchester United. They'd have loved it, but they struggle scoring them, and they are missing Trent with his set piece delivery. So it is a sense of jealousy in there. It's such a strong tool, especially. It's not even just Arsenal; it's a pattern throughout a whole league. I think set piece goals are up about 50% just overall in the whole league. Obviously, you've got the long throw-ins now. So it isn't just Arsenal that are doing this. Obviously, we are trendsetter in that area because teams have looked and gone, this is actually a great way to score, especially when you're playing a low block side. So you're going to struggle building up through the middle. You're going to struggle creating chances. So to have that to rely on is incredible. And a lot of top teams are going to start doing it. A lot of other teams are starting. So Jamie HARA was moaning that Tottenham was starting to do it. Tottenham are in a far better position now than they were last season because of the style of play they're playing. If a team figures out set pieces are a good way to score, then obviously you're going to do them. It is upset. It's just because Liverpool are nowhere near where he thinks they are. You were saying it, I was saying it heavily during pre-season. I think the amount of turnover just getting on Liverpool, the amount of turnover they were having, no Premier League team has ever had that amount of turnover. And there's a reason why no team has ever had that amount of turnover. And even I super chatted in saying, I think the turnover is going to be an issue. I think there's too much going on there. And they were like, no, Arne Slot's going to get the best out of all these players. But they haven't. And Arsenal have the consistency with the same spine going through. We've added little bits here and there. It's not necessarily our ceilings race because we were a very good side anyway. But that flaw in our squad. And Trossard, for me, against low blocks, I know it was a back post header, but he's much better than. So if we've got bigger games, like in the Atletico game, where we have more transitions and there's more space, Martinelli is very good for that. Whereas against a low block, Trossard's a lot more technical. He can jig past players, but I think most of it is just jealousy and frustration that, hold on, this club that we used to call a banter club is actually looking good, and there's nothing negative we can say about this team. So let's just go on the offensive of they're boring. And quite frankly, even if you do find us boring, our job is not to entertain you. Those players' jobs is to win the league. So if they're doing that, then I'm more than happy.
Yeah, and one thing I think I want to look at this for a different angle for a second. I also want to ask you another question as well in regards to the Fulham game. The different angle that I want to look at it is this, and this is a thought, by the way, this is fresh. I've thought about this in the last 24 hours, listening to all the criticism from all the pundits, which is like, Arsenal clearly is a team that has created an abundance of ways to win football matches, creative ways to win football matches. We have created like this tool shed full of different types of tools where we can pull them out when necessary. So we're not just, but this is what people want us to do. They want us to be like Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, which is pass, 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 pass. We're not going to shoot until we create the perfect goal. That's kind of used to be the narrative of Arsenal, right? There was a guy who came into my office once. He never watched a game of football in his life, but he knew about this joke about Arsenal. They never shoot, like they're always trying to walk the ball into the net. He was trying to talk football with me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, isn't the team that always tries to walk the ball into the back of the net?" And so we were like, it was one way. It was either that or nothing. That is kind of true about Arsene Wenger's Arsenal, especially in between 2010 to 20 until he left, right? And all of a sudden now we've just got different ways. We got free kicks. We got throw-ins, as much as you'll love it or hate it. The corners. We can obviously kill you on the transition. We can soak pressure. That's the way we beat Real Madrid away from a Bernabeu. You got two really great counterattacking goals from Saka and Martinelli because we're soaking up pressure against a great team and able to hit them on the break. So we just have so many different ways to try to win games that we can turn to that other teams just can't. And so now that we're coming up with new creative ideas and how to win football matches, people are now calling out those new creative ways. It's not even a creative, it's old school, right? So it's almost like
it is such classic Premier League football. If anyone watched football, I don't know, I'm 27 now, so late 2000, a lot of teams did this. It was just when Pep came in, it transitioned to it. What I think is far more boring is watching Man City games because they would score one or two and they would just pass it round. Whereas now you're seeing far more transitional football, seeing far more shots. So to me, I think they're genuinely scared. Like we're even getting Manchester City turn up to our ground, parking the bus. Teams are genuinely scared of us, and you have to come up with creative ways when teams are playing low blocks because you can't just run through the middle of them. So you have to have things in your arsenal like that to get goals, because we were struggling with it last year, especially when we were going to teams with low blocks. We were struggling to create chances. And I think we'll get onto it later with Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres has helped a lot.
We're about to get onto it now.
That's even though he hasn't scoring, but he is helping them massively.
Yeah, so you would create a great segue for what I want to talk and ask you about right now. And that is the main criticism. This is two parts of this. The main criticism of Arsenal last season was we drew too many games. We're not doing enough to get that extra goal to turn a draw into a win. And now that we're coming up with creative ways to turn draws into wins, whether it might not be the means that everybody wants, we're still changing draws and turning them into wins. The other thing we did in the summer that we were supposed to turn draws into wins was bringing in a striker, which everybody's been calling for. And I sat on the terrace again. We'll refer to the post-match show, and I'll refer to some other shows that I've been to as well. On the Six-Sided, I had to do this on Gunners there. I've been literally on freaking streams twice a day for the last 3 days, talking about Victor Gyökeres, and people telling me how I think it's time for Kai Havertz to start. When Kai Havertz starts, he's going to be going back into that team, and I'm just like, hold up, guys. Weren't you guys the same ones who were panicking when Sporting Lisbon were holding out for a few extra million quid? And you guys are just pay the money. We need a striker. Everyone was so desperate to get a striker. And now that he's in the building now, and he's starting every game. And yeah, he might not be reaching your unrealistic expectations that you had for him. But all of a sudden, it's sort of like Kai Havertz is now all of a sudden the answer again, even though we were so desperate to replace him. What's your? I've never actually heard your thoughts on Victor, and I'm really keen to hear what you have to say.
So I find it very ironic considering I used to have to defend Kai Havertz so much, and now all of a sudden he's this messiah who's going to come back in and save our attack when it was like he was getting so much criticism, completely over criticised. And it's good we have two completely different profiles to play up there, along with Marino now. So with the thing with Gyökeres, I think even if you look at his match ratings and things like that, his statistics, he's always around a 7 because he's doing a lot of things that people don't give him credit for. So the big thing for me is everyone's saying Saka's been a lot better this season. He's dribbling past a lot more players. He's taken on a lot more players. If you actually watch games, Gyökeres is occupying multiple defenders at a time. He's given far more space to Saka on the right. Saka's managed to isolate defenders one-on-one a lot more this season because teams are worried about our forward. Before with Kai Havertz, because he dropped deep, he'd link up play, centre-backs weren't thinking, we need to occupy him. Whereas because we have a full-on striker up front now, there's a target man in there, they're having to stick 2 players on Gyökeres to stop him. So it's given more space to our wide players. Even his link-up play has been really good, especially last night. I thought he holds up the ball really well. He's such a... So even with the press, if you've noticed, Raya's long balls are up a lot because teams will start to press high to get on that transition, and we can just knock the ball over. We did it numerous times last night. Raya, because of his distribution, it's another outlet that we have, can just pop it up to Gyökeres. Gyökeres will win the high balls going up. So we play over that transition. I think Man United have been doing it quite well as well this season, just playing over that transition. But the thing is, Gyökeres is bringing even the goals. It's like comparing with the amount of leeway Isaac is getting compared to Gyökeres. What's this now? So 2 goals in the Champions League.
My favorite topic.
He had 4 GA in the league before this. So it's not like he's even not scoring goals. He had GA before this. But the thing is, because we're changing, it's changing a lot from having a striker who would drop deep, work it into play, and then the wide players will come and tuck in. You're changing a system essentially up top that the players are going to have to get used to playing with a guy like this. And I think the longer the season's gone on, he's getting more and more chances. Obviously, in that first half, he only had about 7 touches on the ball. But once you actually play to his strengths and get him in, he will score goals. It was classic poacher goals yesterday, which is what we won. Everyone was saying we whip the ball in so much, but there's no one there to finish the chances. Yesterday was classic example of he was there to finish those chances. I think the longer the season goes on, you'll see it. But I think he's been completely fine. Everyone's saying he's been really bad. I don't think he's been watching the games properly because he's been doing stuff other than scoring. But the main thing for me is the way he occupies defenders, gives space to the rest of our attackers is key. And even when Kai Havertz comes back, strength and depth is key. He has completely different qualities to Gyökeres. So even if we are playing a low block, we're struggling to get Gyökeres into play, you can bring on Kai Havertz. The amount of clutch goals he was scoring in the 23-24 season, I remember that the big one against Brentford, scoring near the last minute of the game, he battered Chelsea. So Kai Havertz has different qualities to him, and you can just rotate that in. When he comes to play, Kai Havertz will get plenty of minutes. Gyökeres is going to get plenty of minutes. We're in plenty of competitions, and importantly, it gives Gyökeres some rest as well. But I think the criticism for him has been completely over the top when you actually look at what he's been doing and what he has contributed to the team.
I agree. A few comments here in the chat from people you will recognize, Seb. First one's from Jesse Football TV. We all know him. Big up Jesse. He's a Chelsea fan. Go check out his channel. He goes, "What's up, Seb and Anton?"
Hello, Jesse. How are you doing?
Jesse and Seb were at it this morning.
Yes, well,
yeah. And then we got another one, familiar face here. It's David Speaks Football. Big up, David. One of my favorite Man United content creators. I literally watch all of his shorts and his reels that he does on his Instagram. There's 2 handsome fellas on a Wednesday morning. Listen, Man United love Chicharito for scoring goals like that. Goals are goals. I'm worried, very worried Arsenal will win something this year. Look, a big up to you, David, for your honesty, bro. I know how much it hurts for you to say that. I know how much you despise our club and how much you have to put up with like guys like Dan. You know, we'll be talking all summer if we end up winning anything this year. And then David again. David, Arsenal looking okay, but Arsenal always bottle the title. Of course, Jesse would say that. You know
To
what?
be fair with Jesse, I rate the consistency. He's never going to give up on it, and that's what you want. He's a rival. He's a Chelsea fan. You don't want him being nice to us. Keep going, because then it will feel even better when we do. And shout out to David. If you do want to watch some Man United content, he always speaks from the heart. You got to respect it. So shout out David. I love. It's a shame he can't get on as many shows as he can, but big up David as well.
Yeah, no. David's funny. He's going to run out of material soon if Man United keep winning.
Keep winning, yeah. We'll see him smiling.
David, if you're still in the live chat, are you still Ruben in or Ruben out? Just let us know if you're still here. I want to know the answer to that question. Yeah, okay. I want to check to see. I was checking something for a second. All right. Anyway, let's continue because I want to talk about one more talking point from the Fulham game. And then we're going to have some really fun topics as well to come on as well, talking about Atleti. So yet again in the Fulham game, and of course, this is why I like winning and then having these situations come up so then we can discuss it without people being like, oh, you guys are being salty and excuse making and stuff. So for the second time this season, Arsenal have been awarded a penalty only for the referees to go back, check on the monitor, and of course, revoke the penalty again. The discussion that I want to have here is not necessarily, was it a penalty? Was it not a penalty? Because again, all those things are subjective. If everybody, depending on which way you're looking at it, can come up with different opinions on, where did they make contact on Saka's leg? Did it happen before he won the ball? All that stuff. My question here is, we were told that they're only going to go back to the monitor if it's a clear and obvious error. Now, this is 2 times with Arsenal this season where they have checked something that is not really clear and obvious. The referee has called penalty to Arsenal, and they've made a real push to make the referee check the monitor, only for them to revoke the penalty. I'm going to follow this up with a few things that I've not liked, inconsistencies in the past like this. So it just feels like this is happening to Arsenal. Like I've seen other similar calls in other games in which they've given penalties for those things, not even checked it. I want to go back now. That last season, we had Declan Rice kicking the ball away, sent down to 10 men. Leandro Trossard kicking the ball away, sent down to 10 men. Only times that happened in isolation in that entire season for any club whatsoever, right? It was just like they were refereeing Arsenal in a different way. The season before that, again, on 2 different occasions, 2 mistakes that where I felt just obvious and they kept repeating them. Newcastle, when former Arsenal player Joe Willock steps up, the ball goes out of play. He still plays the ball in. That equalizes. That equals up to Newcastle taking the lead. And another one, a similar incident that with Jared Bowen at home against West Ham. Also, the ball goes completely out of play. They just come up with some bullshit reason for it to be in play, or they don't review it. One of them, I don't think they reviewed it at all. I think it was the Bowen one that wasn't actually checked.
No, they didn't check the Bowen one. The ones against Newcastle, they
did check, and they had the shadow of the ball is somewhat inbound.
They said there wasn't a clear enough angle to see, even though the TV replays clearly showed it going out. But the thing,
my question is, do you think that there's some? I don't want to be all conspiracy theory and stuff on here, but do you think that there's something in all what I'm trying to say here that, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's getting to the point where it can't be coincidence because it keeps happening over and over again. But for me, especially the Fulham game, I think you could clearly see the referee did not want to rule it out because of how long it took. He kept watching it. And even then, he took so long to make the decision. But I think referees need to toughen up a little bit and go, you know what, I made this decision. I think this is the right decision. You very rarely ever see a referee go, no, I'm sticking with my decision, even if they think it's correct. But I think the thing is with Arsenal, because of the narrative around us being moany, and Arsenal are the easiest team to get away with this from a refereeing standpoint, because every single other fan base will just call us cheats or crybabies and things so they can get away with doing it against us. Whereas it just seems to consistently over and over again. Anytime we actually call it out and go, this is wrong, people don't care if it's the right or wrong decision. So the refereeing bodies end up getting away with it a lot of the time for me, especially when you've got even people in the media like Jamie O'Hara backing these decisions going like that. And it's just like, this is a clear and obvious area. Even with, if you take into account the Gyökeres one to this one of them was he touched the ball first, but he went through the player. No penalty. But this one is he hit the player first and then hit the ball, and it's still not a penalty. So I need to know. So if a player even gets the slightest little bit on the ball, even though he's gone for a player, is it not a penalty? Because for me, that's always traditionally been a penalty. He goes through his knee to get the tiniest touch on the ball. It doesn't even divert out the way. But it's even with like the red card situations where Saliba got a red card against Bournemouth really early in the game, nowhere near the goal. And then you see in other games where it's far closer to the goal and it's not being given. For me, it's not a coincidence. There must be something in there. Maybe it's the referees going, I'm going to get one back. Because we've heard referees in interviews say they like to target certain clubs, especially if they're getting stick from them. Because Arsenal are so vocal about it, maybe it's just in the back of their mind. They might not be doing it on purpose, but it might be in the back of their mind going, I'm going to get these people back. But for me, I just want some consistency there. Pick what you think is right and keep going with that rather than changing
this is the thing that annoys me. It's when Howard Webb has those one-on-ones with Michael Owen, like on Sky, and he always has not on Sky. It's on the Premier League channel, I believe, and he's always giving these justifications for the most controversial calls. And last year with the Saliba one, he said verbatim, even if the player gets the ball first, it doesn't necessarily not mean that it's not a penalty if he still causes a foul, right? And this year now it's more like it was a clear and obvious error because we're checking to see if the player got to the ball first. But again, in the situation with Gyökeres, he's still denying Gyökeres a goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah,
Gyökeres, right? Gyökeres going to ground. Makes no sense for Gyökeres to go to ground. He's about to knock the ball past the keeper so he can score. And in the Saka one, there's no way that that's not stopping Saka's trajectory going to goal. No. And it's not like Fulham or Newcastle in that way cleanly win the ball back so they can continue attack going in the other way. The ball's still kind of spilling. The ball kind of is dead. Generally, if those type of tackles happen in the middle of the park, they're given a foul. No one's even talking about, free kick, let's go on. But then because it's a penalty and it means we're going to change the score line, all of a sudden we're just going to referee it in a different way. And that's what I don't like. When you go back on your word on what you said something last year, and all of a sudden now we're going to give a different justification that completely contradicts the justification you gave me a year ago. And that drives me nuts. Before you answer, by the way, I just want to read out Jesse again, comes back. He actually answered my question about Ruben Amorim. He goes, I'm not even a Man United fan. And I'm Ruben Amorim out. If they gave him a chance thinking he turned a corner, he'll be just another Eric Ten Hag. Yeah, I don't see. For me though, like I think I always kind of felt this way about Ruben. He came in the middle of the season last year. He kind of never got his footing properly, and they still made a cup final. And then this year, we've gone at him too early because all of a sudden as well, their season's not been as bad as everybody thinks. They're 2 points off of Liverpool. They've gotten results at home against Chelsea, away against Liverpool. They've beaten us, and they're starting to create a little bit of a better form. I think you should try to kind of see how this thing turns out and how it forms if they can get a bit of positive momentum. Because the key thing I look at is if the players play for the manager. For me, that's what's important. Clearly the players are still playing for the manager. This weekend against Liverpool was an absolute example of that. Anyway, what do you think about that, Seb? And then we'll move on obviously to the more Arsenal topic.
Even if you look, the underlying numbers for Manchester United have been a far more bigger improvement on last year. They were top of the league for a lot of this season on XG, for example. Their defensive numbers are far better. I think they were just not putting the ball in the net for large parts. They weren't killing games off. I think there's a clear improvement and the trajectory is up for Manchester United. I wouldn't be sacking him at all. There's clear improvements. I think if they do change tact mid-season once again, I'm never an advocate really for sacking managers most of the time during mid-season. I don't think they should have sacked Ten Hag mid-season. I think they should have just given him, because he had enough there to go, okay, we can see what he's doing there. And I think he is actually adapting a little bit. It does help when his centre-back is actually stepping up into midfield and creating that gap in there. So I think the system's working. It's just taking time to bed in, and I'd stick with him.
Look, you were on the stream with me on the terrace when I was saying, like, when you sack managers, especially after you just sign players for the managers, all of a sudden the new manager comes in and the players that you've just signed no longer fit into the manager's plans. And then you keep piling on all these players that are 2 or 3 managers down the line because you're changing them so often that they don't fit in with the manager's system, and they kind of just end up like sitting in the back of your bench, earning salaries, not fitting into the team. And that's what kind of ruins the culture of a football club, because you got all these guys who are just unhappy or are not being given what they were promised. And the team is just so out of whack. You have players who were bought in for different systems, trying to mold and constantly on the fly learn the new managed system. That's what's wrong with Nottingham Forest this year.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do it again.
Example of that. Yeah. Because it's even like they got McAtee on loan. He's not playing whatsoever. Hutchinson, record signing. Clearly, the manager didn't want him at all. He's not been barely playing. So Nottingham Forest is a perfect example of that. And United are doing well at the moment. Just give him, honestly, what's happened to giving managers time? Everyone's so reactionary these days, where it's just like a couple of results go the wrong way. They're doing well this season. Who would have said at this point in the season they'd be 2 points behind Liverpool? Absolutely no one said that. So you're a United fan. Have a bit of.
Cal's here on his own podcast in the comments section. Here he goes. He goes, "Evening, gentlemen."
He's in Japan and he's still thinking of you. Look at that.
Yeah. he can't let go. Bro, if you are available at all, you're more than welcome to to come and drop by, and we can have a 3-way chat if you're available. Otherwise, keep enjoying your holiday, bro. And by the way, you see his logo in the bottom corner underneath Seb. Make sure you hit the QR code, subscribe to his personal platform. Although at the moment he's out there in Japan. I don't know what do you guys been eating out in Japan, Cal? If you're still in the live chat, I'm actually gonna send you the link if you just want to come up on your phone, just because it'll be fun. Otherwise, bro, don't worry about it. Oh, he says send the link. All right, here we go.
Lovely.
Here you go, Cal. All right, 1 second. All right, I've sent you the link, buddy. You can come back onto your own channel. Yeah, and by the way, I haven't heard Cal's thoughts on Arsenal this week, so we've been freaking good. Anyway, let's keep the ball rolling while Cal is going to come back on, which is a very nice surprise. Okay, we're talking about. All right, so I wanted to kind of discuss this, and actually, you know what? Let's get into Atletico Madrid. I think let's not let this stream go on too long without talking about the game today, because I think that's what makes everybody happy, and I think it's something that Cal wants to talk about when he comes on. How did you feel about today? Because all of a sudden, the lead up to today's game was all the bullshit that we were just been talking about, and we're going to continue to talk about as this show progresses. And all of a sudden, Arsenal had all the answers to all the questions in a 13-minute blitz. How did you feel about that today's game? You honestly, obviously just smiling, just me bringing it up.
Honestly, it was music to my ears, because everyone before, the memes were coming out, haram this, terrorism football this, everyone's going to be parking the bus. But honestly, it was such a good attacking display from Arsenal. From the minute off, we were onto them immediately. The high pressing was lovely to see. First half, we could have been easily 2-0 up. Obviously, it was a bit disappointing that we went in at 0-0 at the break. Obviously, you get some nerves going there, but the second half was probably the best display we've seen from this Arsenal team this year, especially from Victor Gyökeres, gets his 2 goals. And people forget, Atletico Madrid are one of the best defensive sides in the world. They've never lost by this margin in a European competition ever. It's Simeone's biggest loss. Simeone in this post-match interview said this was one of the best teams he's ever faced, ever. And that's coming from Simeone. I think even Lewis Skelly just shows, because obviously he hasn't had allotments because of how good Calafiori's been, but he's just come on the scene and gone, I'm still here. still class. And the run he made through the middle of their team was glorious. We had a real mix of goals. We still had the set piece goals, which is good because it's going to rattle people. So we still had our typical Gabriel score, but we scored goals from open play. We scored goals. We were creating so many chances. First off, obviously, we were struggling to put them away, but seeing Gyökeres, the smile on Gyökeres' face when he did end up scoring, hopefully that pushes him on now to get some more goals. But I thought overall it was the perfect attacking display. Atletico Madrid just looked, we completely outclassed him. It was like playing men versus boys. You wouldn't think this is one of the biggest teams in Spain. Absolutely battered them. It was incredible. I couldn't fault anything we did yesterday. And the thing is, when they did open up, this is why I think the game was a perfect example of why teams don't open up. We scored, they had to open up, and then we just killed them. In that 40-minute period, we absolutely slaughtered them. But that is why teams play a low block against us, is because we are so good. And I'm going to let Cal talk now.
Yeah. Live from Japan. How you going, buddy?
Yeah.
On your own channel, haven't coming in as a guest.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Sup, dude. I just recorded this short. I need to do some editing because I literally dropped my phone mid-short. So I can't just upload it straight away on the game. But man, dude, I went out drinking last night, and I just took a kind of day off today. And so I didn't do anything today, but I still kind of woke up to watch the game. That's all. I love this club. And man, it was worth it, dude. What? Dude, how do you not feel excited about Arsenal right now, dude? Like, it's impossible. It's impossible. Like, and they keep telling us that we can't get away with it. They keep telling us we can't get away with these set pieces, and we keep getting away with it, man. It's lovely to see. Like, Declan Rice is the best set piece, like one of the, if not the best set piece taker in world football right now. And Gabriel is one of the best headers of the ball. And when you pair them two together, we just keep scoring. And man, and I don't know what PEDs Martinelli's taking, but I don't want him to get tested right now, because right now he's on one. He is absolutely on one.
Well, you know what, Cal, you were the one. I'm going to quote you again. You were the one saying, "I never want to see him starting for Arsenal Football Club ever again." No, you're good, Cal. You're good.
Did I break up?
No, you're good. You're still in. We can see you.
Okay.
Did you hear what I said?
Because I thought you guys froze for a second. What do you say?
All good. I said, are you willing to take back, that statement you made earlier this year? Like, I don't want to see Martinelli starting for Arsenal ever again.
I'm taking that back.
No way back.
I'm willing, dude. If he continues playing like this, man, I just keep doing it. I think maybe he just needed, I don't know, some competition or what. Or maybe Trossard just wasn't enough competition. Maybe the fact that, I don't know, Eze is also vying for that position. Maybe Arteta is just giving him better instructions. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, keep doing what you're doing. Because normally he doesn't perform when he starts, and today he performed even though he started. So, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's just actually back to me and Cal again for the short period of time.
Yeah.
No, bro, you know what? I'm so happy to have. By the way, show the people some of you the background area. Are you in? Where are you? Are you in Tokyo?
Yeah. Well, right now I'm in Nakano, and it's just a little, tiny town. It's not really it's not like proper city, so it's pretty quiet around here, which is really nice. But it's really close to the train, so I hop on a train and we can get around everywhere. So yeah.
By the way,
yes.
Good chance to answer this. So Jesse goes, guys, you need to have me on your show sometimes. Jesse, me and Cal 100%. Have already discussed having you on our show. When the Chelsea game comes around in like a month and a half from now or stuff, we are going to have an epic episode of
we'll probably have you on the Thunderdome. Hey,
yeah. And Cal's also got some other plans involving bringing on some non-Arsenal fans onto the show. So we got some fun stuff planned. But Jesse, trust me, we talk about you all the time. So sure.
Yeah.
But I also got to get that Trinidad and Tobago link up again as well.
Yeah, of course.
Here, Seb's back. You know what? Actually, I
right.
want to ask you a few things, Cal. I don't know how long you have to hang out here before
Yeah.
you got to nip out again. But obviously, there's a lot has changed in Arsenal Football Club over the last, like the narratives and all this stuff, right? And I've been sitting around. I don't know if you've watched the Terrace or whatever. But like the Victor Gyökeres thing went on absolute smoke. The criticism of
Mm.
Gyökeres, even though I felt like he wasn't that bad on the week against Fulham, and then all of a sudden, all of the criticism Arsenal is ruining football, the long throws and the set pieces. Everyone's doing it now. Arsenal's killing the game. The haram, but all this stuff starts coming out. All of a sudden, everybody's feeling threatened because I think they're starting to feel like Arsenal can actually win, so that we'll eventually bottle it thing is starting to like they're starting to feel like, oh crap, maybe they might not, and now all these
Yeah.
narratives are coming out. What do you feel like? Because I got Seb here
Well, first,
trying to pop the balloon
yeah,
of these stuff. I want to hear what you think about it.
I think first of all, I think um, you know, like I will always say that what Arteta did at Arsenal Football Club is a success, whether he wins this season or not. It's just whether he can take it over the line. But and we probably would need to move on if he can't take it over the line. But just putting that to the side, I will always say that he's an excellent coach and he's done an excellent job at Arsenal so far. That's my take on it, because taking a team from where we've been to where we are now is not something not many people could do that in world football. I'm sorry. Like completely help change the culture of a football club and change the fortunes the way we are. So that's my take. And on everyone trying to say that we're ruining football and stuff. At the end of the day, the reason why I bring up Arteta is because he's just ahead of the curve. To be honest, he noticed a hole, and he's noticed that he has strong technical footballers that will win all your second balls, that can keep possession and will dominate you in the box, and there's nothing you can do about it because they're too big, they're too strong, but they're also extremely technical, which is something that we haven't seen before, and everyone's trying to adapt. People are making fun of us for the long throws. Now everyone's doing long throws. Why is everyone drying the ball and throwing in long throws? I'm seeing it every weekend from every team, because, like right now, Arsenal are the trendsetters, and no one can stop us. You know, and when you have something that no one else has, I think it is a jealousy thing, and I also think people are in love with ballet on the pitch, and we're not here to play ballet. We're here to win football games, and like I'm watching, like just looking back at the West Ham and Fulham games, what an absolute disgrace. Those teams literally went down 1-0 and decided not to attack ever. They literally went down and didn't open up at all, and that's what we have to deal with every week. And
At
it's
the
not
end, it's
easy
our
to
fault. We're the ones playing
yeah,
haram ball.
exactly. And it's like, what's more likely for us to, with our set piece takers and our massive players, to score a set piece, or to try to dribble through six players and get a goal? It's like, it's not going to happen. We will draw games if we
Oh.
try to unpick looks like that. We can't. We have
Bro,
to
you're cutting out a little
score
bit.
these set pieces.
Oh, he's back.
And
He's back.
if we continue, but when they do try something else and they do open up, we absolutely annihilate them, honestly. And no one should take this away from us. We should revel in the fact that we have something that other teams don't, and just ignore the rivals. They're always going to try to take away what we have. Even if we win the league this season, we can do a dub this season, and people would say, "Oh, football's just bad right now," and Arsenal took won when everyone else was crap. That's going to be the narrative. I've already seen the narrative change for Atletico Madrid. All of a sudden, Atletico Madrid is a shit team. By the way, they just spanked Real Madrid like 5-2. Like they spanked, and like Mbappe, Real Madrid are like top of La Liga, by the way. They beat them 5-2. And all of a sudden, Atletico's a bad team, and Simeone should pack it up. And I'm hearing all these things. It's like, excuse me? I wasn't hearing that before the game. Did anyone say Atletico Madrid was washed before we played them? No. And it's going to keep happening. If we go up against Bayern and we beat them, they're going to say Bayern's crap. They're going to say Bundesliga's crap. If we beat PSG, they're going to say, oh, they don't have Donnarumma, or they don't have something, and that's why we beat them. They're like, I'm prepared to deal with it. I'm not really bothered about it.
Do we really care as long as we're winning? We're winning it all. Like, I don't really give a shit what people think about.
Yeah. So you're telling me with the best set piece takers in world football and the best headers in world football, we're not allowed to score on set piece? Did you see that Martinelli goal? That was amazing.
I know.
MLS
But you know what that was
Madrid.
though? You know what that was though? This was Atletico Madrid, who are a big club, and when they go 1-0 down, they have a big ego, and they're like, "We're gonna have to try to win this game, come back and win the game." And then they did open up, and what happens? You finally get to see Arsenal's team click into gear, and this is what this game was. We've been talking about this podcast. We're on now episode 12, right? We've been talking about it for 12 weeks. Like, this team is just like trying to click into gear. You can see the formula, the players that we've had, and it's like we're just knocking on the door, but we haven't quite had everything kind of gel and come together. And all of a sudden, in that 13-minute period, it just all spilled out everywhere.
Dude,
we just figured it out all of a sudden, and it was just beautiful.
I think teams are like, Terry likes to say Arsenal is scary. I think teams are scared to play us, honestly. After like watching Fulham and Arsenal, like Fulham and West Ham, how even going down they just wouldn't attack. That we're gonna be dealing with a lot of that. But the thing is, what makes me excited as well in the Champions League, teams can't do that. First of all, the egos are too high, and if we go up, you have to come out and play. You have to do something, and you better do something. And by the way, Gabriel, after he scored that header, what happens? They go on a counterattack. They try to beat us. Did you see that block that he had on what's his guy, Simeone's son?
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
I saw the replay. It's like, wait, no, that wasn't off. He stopped that. This is our team, and he screamed like he scored again. Like these are the players that we have. By the way, Gabriel is probably the best center back in world football right now, and we need to talk about it.
And if he's the best, then the other one is the second best is on our team. You know the narrative earlier this year that like Arsenal have the best partnership, but Liverpool have Van Dijk who's better than both of them. I think both of them have a better season than Van Dijk. Both of them had a better season.
Who's playing better this season?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, Chelsea they like to put Caicedo and all these guys in these conversations. They're not doing it in the Champions League, and they ain't an attack.
Yeah. I actually want to get Seb's take on this because Seb's been sitting on the sideline for a second. I'm gonna bring up an analogy, and I wonder if you guys both agree on this. So all of this like narratives about set piece FC or we're killing the game, throw-ins, whatever. You know what it's kind of like? So two guys like the same girl, but one is doing better with the girl than the other one, right? And so the first one, the one who's not getting the girl, pretends to be like the best friend. Like, I don't really love the girl, but I'm going to give my friend some really shitty advice so he fucks up and I can swoop in there. Do you feel like that is what's happening with these narratives? I'm going to start with Seb first on this.
I mean, yeah, I think they're just trying to, because we're so good, they're trying to find something to bring us down. That's what it is. They're trying to find one little bit. They can't criticize us being naive anymore, anything like this. We're so good at something and everyone else can't do that. They're jealous. Even like when Cal was saying teams are so defensive. Man City came to the Emirates and parked the bus. One of the best teams in the country came to us. So they showed us so much respect that they were like, we're scoring one goal, we're sitting back. That is not how it's been the last few seasons. When Pep Guardiola is coming to us and doing that, then everyone else needs to take note for me. We're doing something. We found something that's so good, it's working. No one else can replicate that. That's why we have the best centre-back in the world, because he can defend at a world-class level. He scores goals at a world-class level for a centre-back. He's so clutch for us that they're just all jealous. Teams are trying to be us. As Jamie HARA said, Tottenham are trying. Everyone's trying to be us, and they can't. That's how good we are.
I'm going to play the Jamie HARA clip in a second, because I want Cal to hear it.
Bro, I didn't hear it, but let's hear it.
All right, ready.
I've never heard it before. Yep.
Let's do this right now. I'm going to bring up Jamie HARA. This is the bullshit he spewed earlier today.
Midfielder in your day, Jamie O'Hara. Are you happy to see long throws come back in?
Can't stand it. I hate it. It's killing the game, especially the Premier League, the product. I mean, it's like watching non-league at the minute, some of the football I'm watching. Spurs at the weekend, territory football, head it out. Danso comes up, gets the tower, starts throwing. It's so one-dimensional. And Carragher's right. Like, I get it. Some of the lesser teams like Brentford, you got a long throw in it. You can cause problems. You can maybe create a chance. But the top teams doing long throw-ins. I can't believe what I'm watching. It's all down to Arsenal. Arsenal started this. Arsenal started the long throw, the set pieces. They've killed the Premier League in terms of fluid football and enjoyable football.
But Arsenal still play good football.
No, they
don't. They've just
don't.
tried something different, which is working.
Yeah, and now everyone's run with it. And Arsenal are the best at it, right? You can't get away from it. Set pieces, throw-ins, Arsenal are the best. But everyone's copying what they're doing. And they can't do it like that. I'm seeing teams do long throw-ins, Tom. You ain't even got long throw. It's not even reaching a 6-yard box. But everyone's trying to do it. It's so one-dimensional. What do you get from a long throw-in? Right, you pack the box out, you throw it, and you might get a flick on, and you create a chance. But it's so boring to watch, and it's so non-league. It's the Premier League we're talking about here. You're meant to be the best of the best. I can understand it every now and then, or the last 5 minutes of a game. You want to get the ball in the box and cause a bit of chaos. But every time we're looking at long throws, stop, start, stop, start. What happened to get the ball down, move it quick, play, crosses in the box, get to the byline, crosses in the box? The top team's doing it, and Thomas Frank's been doing it at Spurs, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it, and I think it's killing. I think it's killing the Premier League.
Well, that's a pretty crap take. First of all, he literally done himself in his own explanation. Yeah, the reason people throwing it in is because you can get a flick on and score a goal. It causes chaos in the box. That's the whole point, Jamie. And by the way, Thomas Frank doing what Arsenal are doing, what you're saying, means that they're doing a lot better than they were last season, which was, 17th? So, yeah, it's working. Like, this guy, I don't know what he wants. You know what I'm saying?
But
it's just a horrendous take.
He's skating over everything else we do. Not every throw is a long throw, and we have one of the highest take-on percentages in the league. We have one of the highest touches in the opposition box in the league, highest touches in the opposition half in the league, one of the highest shot-taking actions in the league, some of the highest XG created in the league. But yet we're a boring, passive, we're a line set-piece team. It's just like he's completely negating, because he hates us so much. He's got to focus in on one thing and be like, no, this is why they're so good, and it's boring, and I hate it. When even the whole narrative is completely incorrect. Yes, we score a lot of goals from set pieces because we're good at them, and no one else can replicate what we can do, and they can't stop it. I find it funny that he's comparing us to a non-league team, yet we are easily the best team in the Premier League right now. So I'd like to see what an actual non-league side would do in the league. It's similar to what Keane said about Haaland, where it's just like, he's so good, you're just picking up on one tiny aspect, but we are attacking. We do create a lot of chances. Statistically, we are the best team in the league right now. And quite frankly, he would love to be in Arsenal's position. If Tottenham were doing what we were doing and they were top of the league, he would have no complaints whatsoever. He'd just say, well, they're getting the job done. They're getting it over the line. But because it's Arsenal, he got rejected. You've got to take the nuance from this as well. He was rejected from Arsenal's academy as a youngster. So he's got that internal hatred. And the fact that he's let on national television saying such rubbish like this and gets paid for saying such rubbish on this, it is blatantly absurd. It is just ridiculous, but I love it. I hope we score even more set piece goals because he's hating it right now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
This rattled them more. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
When we started doing the set piece thing, I was pretty skeptical when we were only scoring from set pieces, but it's gotten to the point where we're like, oh no, this is sustainable. Because if this was like a little 3-4 game spell, and it's just chaotic, and we were just kind of getting lucky hits in. I could understand people saying that it's unsustainable, but it's so calculated and it's so consistent that it's actually it doesn't make any sense. I think someone said that we literally score more from set pieces than our positions have shots on target. So, like, it's 100% sustainable, and it's how we play. And if you have a problem with it, deal with it.
You know what my new take is here, Cal, and it's going to stir a lot of rival fans here. Watching how everyone gets so depressed, yet criticized at the same time when we score set piece, because like, oh, also scored a set piece goal, 1-0 Arsenal. Like I'm watching the hate watches, and they are literally, the balloon is getting deflated after every set piece goal. I'm like, you know what? I want to score more set pieces. I only want to score goals from set pieces because it destroys the hearts of rivals more than us scoring in the traditional way. I just want to just keep doing it.
Not,
I would love to do it.
not not only that, right? I think what really annoys people is the fact that we will score from a set piece and they know we're not going to concede. Like they know it. So they know like potentially they've literally just watched the entire football game. It's like, oh crap, Arsenal scored a set piece. They're not going to concede. I'm not going to be able to have any hope for anything else for the rest of the game in my head alone. And that's what people are doing when they're watching Arsenal, because they want a bit of chaos. They want back and forth. They want teams to run at us. They want they want an exciting game to watch, but they're not going to get that when they're watching us. Pep was watching Man City fun to watch. They were never fun to watch. They
I
would
know.
just recycle the ball
used to like
over and over and
hate
over
watching
again.
them. I wasn't
Yeah,
hate
and they just
watching. Like
score.
I just didn't enjoy watching them. Like I literally was
Yeah.
like, this is so boring because I know.
It's
and-
boring. So
And for us, we were obviously in a title race with them, and we were looking for just one freaking slip up, and it never was happening. Here comes the diabolical Ash. Big up Ash. Coquerez. Here we go. It's because he scored.
he comes
you know
out
how he
after his team finally wins a game in the Champions League.
No, it's
Where are they?
It's because
Where are they in the
now,
league right now? 10th?
You know that they've scored, I think, the second least amount of goals in the league. The only teams that have scored less than is like Burnley and Wolves or something, or something
They've
like
got,
Leeds and Wolves. One of them.
But
anyway, I know what Ash is doing. Ash is now giving, because Gyökeres now scored. He's like, well, he scored with because the ball, the second goal comes off of like his groin area, kind of like humps it into the back of the net there. And Terry kept saying he scored with the penis, and so now Ash is trying to delegitimize the goal because it came out and he didn't score it properly. So
okay, let's see who scores more, Walter-Mata or
it's not just
Gyökeres.
Walter-Mata. I have a running bet with Ash Isak against Gyökeres. Right now it's 5-1 in all comps.
How many more games does Isak need to get fit?
I know that was
dude,
my point.
I don't care. I don't care what he scores with, bro.
Watch the 6-sided from yesterday. I literally go into town on him. I literally went into town on him.
Okay. But anyway, I need to peace out.
Well. All right, Cal.
I need to peace out.
Good to see you back.
Yep. Thanks for having me on for my
trip,
little
man.
cameo. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Big ups. Thanks, Seb, for coming on.
All right. Cheers, man.
Bye.
Bye, bro. Yeah. All right. That was good, Cal coming in. And then Ashley, enjoy, Cal. Yeah. All right. I want to play a little game with you, and then this is kind of the last kind of bit of the segment. And then I think I kind of want to talk a little bit back about the Atletico Madrid game a little bit as well, because Cal came in, but I want to play a game with you. And this is kind of different. So everybody was sort of like, rate me out of 10. They kind of do that, and that's kind of not the way I like to do things. I like to try. Cal goes, I'll just lurk into the end. Say, hey, Cal, you can actually more than welcome to answer in the live chat the questions that I'm going to ask. So I call this game expectation versus reality. And we're going to play this with Arsenal's signings. Now, some of them I just feel like it's not worth talking about because they really haven't featured. Some of them talking about like Kepa, Norgard, I don't really think. And I think to a certain point, I think Nkapie as well, because he hasn't really played either. So for the other 5 signings that we've seen actually play for Arsenal this season, I want to play expectations from reality. We'll start out a little bit lighter, and then we'll get to the juicier ones, like the main guys. So let's start out with Christian Mosquera. What did you expect him to be when we signed him, and what have you seen to date that you have? Is it the same or is it different?
I think
start with Seb, obviously.
He's gone beyond what I was expecting, because obviously we brought him in. He's a youngster. He was kind of brought in to go under Saliba's wing, especially people were saying that, well, if Saliba leaves, we got him in. But when he's come in and played certain games, apart from that mistake against Newcastle, he's been unbelievable. He's been quality. He's been a lot better than what I thought. I don't watch a lot of La Liga, so I didn't really watch him last season. But a youngster coming in for not a lot of money at all, I thought, well, it's a bit of backup. But we obviously saw how good Kivior was at the back end last season, but he's been a step up from Kivior. He's been unbelievable. We haven't really seen a drop off when Saliba was out injured. So the fact that we didn't see that and our defensive numbers were still pretty much identical when Mosquera came in, then I don't really have a bad word to say about him. He's gone beyond my expectations, to be honest.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, for me, and I'm sure Cal's going to write in the live chat while I'm talking. For me, I feel that I kind of expected him, to kind of be like a backup, and I actually thought as well that, like, for instance, when he came into the Liverpool game, I was very nervous because we started our most important game of the season away at Anfield, and all of a sudden, Saliba's gone, and he comes in and he's just absolutely Saliba clone. He, like, nothing different in that performance changed because Saliba came off the pitch. And then there were games like we went to Bilbao in the Champions League, and he was probably our best player in that game. And yeah, he had a little bit of a hiccup in the Newcastle game, and he had to be taken off. But then he comes on in substitute appearances, and he absolutely shuts up shop. I agree. I think he has exceeded expectations. This is what Cal had to say. I was expecting small cameos, adjustments into the league. He went from a 6 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 signing. Yeah, absolutely what kind of both of us are saying. All right, let's take the next one here. And he's obviously out injured at the moment, but he started off with a bang, and that's Noni Madueke. And I think this is an interesting one because obviously what people said on the day he signed, let's all be honest, expectations versus reality. Seb, what about you? And by the way, Cal says, I think he's faster than Saliba. I think that's a tough because Saliba's recovery pace is world class. But anyway,
I think the expectations for Madueke was on the floor. I was going on a Top 6 show actually defending him. I think he's given us a quality that we didn't necessarily have. His take on ability is one of the best in the league. The only player that had a better take on ability than him in the league was Doku last season for under 21 players. I think him coming in, and when Sak was out injured, he looked unbelievable. He's one of our best players at the start of the season. So he's far exceeded what a lot of people said. Obviously, he didn't really get any GA in there, but he just showed what we were missing. I think, especially with the signings of Gyökeres, we were targeting to strengthen in the transition, and Madueke has certainly done that. So any criticism people had for Madueke, he pretty much shut them up after about 3-4 games. For me, 8 out of 10 signing again. He was quality. I was expecting him to be quality. I said on the Top 6 show and on TFT that I was quality. I got so much stick for it, but he was one of Chelsea's best attackers last year. Most of their games they won was when Madueke was on the pitch. Yes, he wouldn't score all the time. I do think he needs to work on his his finishing, and when he actually gets into the box, he kind of does fluff it a little bit, but those are things you can work on. His raw abilities are superb, and he offers something different. So as a backup as well, once he's back, he'll get minutes, but I think he filled in for Saka, and I think he shut up a lot of people.
Yeah, well, Cal goes, Madueke went from a 3 out of 10, because I know Cal was straight up pissed when we made that signing. I know that for a fact. So he's very, very honest here, because he went from a 3 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10. Insane glow up. Yeah, and I think I'm going on the lines. Like, obviously, I was a little bit critical of just some of his lack of finishing end product, because there was a lot of great beating a man and creating a threat and having something that the defense has to worry about, because he's just so good at getting in behind, and he's so quick and he's so tricky. He's a tricky dribbler. Actually, interesting. Actually, Jess comes in here. He goes, but yet still, Arsenal fans didn't want Madueke. Y'all welcome. We have other players if y'all want. Come shop again. You know what? Yeah, I know what you're trying to do here, Jesse, but you're on the wrong podcast, because I'll tell you, there are players on your team who I absolutely like. I mean, I take Jarrell Hato, by the way. I want a Jarrell Hato now. So I'm not going to, if you gave him to us 2 years from now, I'm all of a sudden not going to rewrite history and be like, oh no, shit, Jarrell Hato. Or I like Esteval. I like Esteval.
The signings we've had from them have worked, a lot of them. So yeah, I'll keep buying them. The thing is with him also,
Jorginho.
the thing is with that, the price was compared with a lot of other players, especially when going talking to Newcastle fans. It was comparing it with Elanga. It's been far
Cal's
better than
comment.
Elanga has, and we bought him for the going rate for a winger. So it's not like we overpaid for him. He's doing a lot better than what the other players he was compared to. And the fact he's been injured for half this time and he still had such an impact. And yeah, we'll come take Palmer. Let's be honest. He'll want to win trophies. So, and Chelsea ain't going to win any apart from some.
That would be freaking insane. I think that's very funny though from Cal there. But what I was going to say here is more of just, and I think I want to touch on this a little bit in terms of how this is the scary part about us. Why I'm so confident about Arsenal, and I've been saying it over and over and over and over again. People were ignoring me and laughing at me, but now all of a sudden now you're seeing it play in reality, which is beautiful. And people talking about it like as if, it's always been this way, like about Arsenal's squad. But Noni Madueke is a great example. Look how great Arsenal's playing right now, and the form Saka is picking up. So Madueke stepped in at a time when obviously Saka got injured, and yeah, no way. You're dreaming, Jesse. You're dreaming. 200 million for Palmer. But yeah, he came in at a crucial time, and obviously then he got hurt. Cal's goes, Jesse, even if we buy Palmer for 200, your fan base will riot.
Oh, the meltdown would be so funny.
oh my god. Anyway, I just think you bring Noni Madueke again back into the team now that you're seeing how it's clicking, and then have him as a threat coming off the bench, or as him as ability to rotate. Like when we hit into the Christmas period, which is where people are hoping that the congestion of fixtures is going to trip us up. That's why I'm confident. That's the difference. Why I'm confident about this year. I think the congestion of fixtures is where we're going to start to actually build space, because we're going to have some of our players back, and we're going to be able to rotate and play so many different lineups 2 days apart from each other. Play someone on Boxing Day, play a different lineup on New Year's Eve, and we're going to be able to just switch it up and also play in the cups. And Noni is a part of that. So the reason why our season was derailed last year is because in that Christmas period, we went away to Crystal Palace, 1-5-1, by the way. But we completely didn't care because Saka's hobbled off the pitch and we don't see him for another 3-4 months, and that derails our season. We saw already that first of all, we can preserve Saka, so we avoid that. But we saw that when Madueke came in for Saka this season, when he was injured, we kept going and winning games.
Yeah, so there was so much criticism for overplaying Saka. Now that Madueke is there, we actually have a decent enough backup where the drop-off isn't that much. Obviously, you don't get the same GA that you do when having Saka there, but Madueke, I'm not worried when Madueke has to play, because I quite like Madueke. He offers different qualities, especially if we're playing different sides, especially if we're playing lesser sides in the Champions League. Noni can break down teams with his pace. His take on ability is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
the ability, that thing we keep, I think this is the theme of the season, which is turning draws into wins. That's another type of player where we're a bit stuck, but all of a sudden we can bring on a Noni Madueke against tired legs, and he can change the games. Jesse and Cal are going back and forth in the live chat. Jesse goes, Cal, we can always find another Palmer, and I think we already have that in Esteval. I actually agree with that take. I actually do agree.
Yeah, well, Palmer's just a penalty merchant anyway. So
yeah, I really like Esteval as a player. Honestly, that thank you again, William Esteval, for that goal you scored in injury time to beat Liverpool. Like, honestly, I have a lot of thank yous. I got thank you for Harry Maguire. I got a thank you for our former player Eddie Nketiah. All of you guys have contributed to the meltdown that is now happening at Liverpool. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Cal's response is Madueke will help us win the cups. I agree. Absolutely. Like, as we keep going into this Carabao Cup, by the way, we got a toughie next week against Brighton, because I don't know if we can play a weakened lineup against Brighton in the cup. But that's the beauty of this, is that it won't be. We can rotate and bring in players we're comfortable with without having to throw the kids in there. Yeah. And yeah, that'll be an interesting game, I think, the Brighton one. So funny, by the way, I need to make a correction on my previous show. Me and Cal were looking through the fixtures and we talked about the Brighton game like it was a Premier League game. It's actually the Carabao Cup game. So I like we were like, oh, Brighton, we were playing back-to-back home. We said we were playing back-to-back home games, Palace and Brighton. We are, but Brighton is in the cup, and then the other ones is Burnley away and Sunderland away. Anyway, let's move on to the next player. By the way, we'll read Jesse's comment and then we'll move on to the next player because I'm really interested to hear your take on this on the next one. Cal Madueke to help y'all win a cup. Okay, whatever makes you sleep at night.
You know what? You know what? Cup last year, so not going to be funny. He did. He played a lot of minutes in that Conference League. So if you're going off historical records, he does. So yeah, I agree. He will.
All right, next player. Reality versus expectation. And actually for me, I feel like the reality and expectation match. And that is Martin Zubimendi. And by the way, today, what a masterclass by Martin Zubimendi. He ripped. By the way, there's a familiarity, of course, of playing Atletico Madrid. And it clearly showed because some of the passes that he was playing. The Martinelli goal, by the way, which Lewis Skelly plays a huge part into it. That ball from Zubimendi into Lewis Skelly was absolutely a peach. But yeah, reality versus expectation for you. What did you think that Martin Zubimendi would be? What has he been for Arsenal so far?
I think the expectations was a little bit lower just because the deal was done a while ago, so everyone knew it was going to happen. But he has been unbelievable. He's probably been one of the best signings in the league. The upgrade we've got from Partey there. He's just as good at defending. He breaks up transitions. He stops a lot of transitions from the opposition team. He just seems to always be in the right place at the right time. He obviously picked up a yellow card, a bit of a harsh yellow card yesterday. But the range of passing he has, when we're playing against these low blocks, he's so crucial. Even when Odegaard went off injured against West Ham, there wasn't really a drop off in our passing range. He was absolutely unbelievable. But he's so good from taking it from the back line forwards, the progression there. We're playing a lot faster. A lot of criticism from Arsenal last year was we were too slow in the build-up, whereas he can just ping a pass straight up, break through those lines, and he's just been unbelievable. He's been so good. But I think he's personally been our signing of the season so far. He has, though. It is true. Madueke has been better.
Oh my God.
But yeah, Zubimendi for me is probably the last signing of the season. It's just the way he helps breaks down low blocks. He's been crucial for us.
Yeah, and so Cal's answer to this is he goes, his expectation for Zubi was a 7 out of 10 coming in. In reality, it's a 10 out of 10. He has transformed our midfield. And I agree. And by the way, this is why my reality and expectation are the same. Because when we signed this player, I was by the way, this was happening right after we got knocked out of the semifinal of the Champions League. It literally happened within days after that. And I was like, fuck me, we're winning the Premier League next year. I know I had like this dream, like I knew we needed a left winger, we needed a striker. But I'm like, this Zubimendi changes Arsenal's midfield completely. He makes us be able to, as you said, break down teams a lot easier. He's just got that one killer pass, but he also can change the tempo of the game. Where if you need to make the game fast, he can whip a ball really, really quickly. He can play the ball through the lines very quickly. He can play balls into Eze, slip him in very quickly. He can take him off the center back. He's literally just a beautiful, beautiful player to watch. And everyone was kind of, I don't know, he's going to take time to adjust to the Premier League. People were talking about, maybe we should start the season with Norgard at the DM. And I'm like, no. Just let Zubimendi start. Let him show you what he is like from the beginning. How else is he going to get used to the league without throwing him in there? And I just think he's been just completely different player to Thomas Partey. And one thing, a criticism I gave to Zubimendi on last week's podcast I was sitting here with Cal, which is like, I have yet to seen the Zubimendi I see on international duty with Spain. And today, Atletico Madrid was Zubimendi playing for Spain in an Arsenal shirt.
I think the thing is as well, when you actually look at it, the praise that Declan Rice is getting this season is justified, but that's because Zubimendi is doing so much defensively that Rice can push up and do the things he's good at. Obviously, Rice's defensive numbers are down this year, but that's because Zubimendi is doing a lot of the defensive work. But it's freed up Declan Rice to box crash, get up there. He's obviously scoring goals, Declan Rice. So the effect he's even having on Declan Rice, he's elevated Declan Rice as well. So to me, it couldn't have gone any better. Personally, he hasn't really put a foot wrong. I'm so excited we got him over Liverpool because I think a lot of problems Liverpool have had this season would be remedied by them having a Zubimendi in there. So the fact that we've got him and also weakened a title rival of ours, it's perfect, really.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, he's not as good as Gravenberch.
Gravenberch is, I like Gravenberch, but he's very good at the basic things, so he looks good.
Yeah, it's right. It's this being like just as a football savant is what I would say Zubimendi is. He's got so many more pieces to his locker. He impacts the football games in different ways than a Gravenberch. Where I think Gravenberch is a little bit more of your traditional, a little bit more of a Thomas Partey than he is a Zubimendi. It's hard to really kind of compare that. Jesse asks a question for us. Question: if Arsenal has another trophy last season, would you all call for Arteta to be sacked? And then, okay, well, Cal's got his answer ready. Cal goes, yes, Jesse, I rate Arteta and I thank him, but we have to win this season. All right, I'm gonna come to you next on that question, Seb, because I have a different response to that, because I'm kind of feeling like that the conversation is going to be moot, because I'm starting to feel like the chances of us not winning a trophy are growing higher and higher with each passing game. But what say you, Seb, on that scenario?
The fact that everyone thinks we're now favourites is obviously putting a lot more pressure on him, but I think some context is needed. If we lose the league again by 1 to 2 points, semi-final, then no, obviously, I don't think he should be sacked. I don't think we can bring in a manager who's going to get the best out of these players. The players love him. They're playing for him. I think sacking him could be the worst. I think we'd take our squad's in a really good place, but I just think he's perfect for us right now. I wouldn't, even if we didn't win anything, I'd still personally keep him on. I don't see anyone being better bringing him in. I don't think anyone else gets the best out of the squad. He's built it from the ground up with obviously our ownership. Berta coming in has made a big impact as well. But personally, even if he doesn't win, obviously in these contexts, if we finish outside the top 4 and completely fall off with the squad that we have, then yeah, probably needs to move on. But I don't see that happening, and we're probably going to win something this season anyway. So no, I don't think so. I think that would just be a silly thing to do.
Yeah. So having seen the combination of the performances, now that we're growing a bigger sample size as well, we're playing midweek, weekend, and we're seeing what we saw today. As I alluded to earlier in the pod, Arteta has got such a different variety of ways of playing football. He has so many ways. He is actually out coaching people. That's what I think. People wanted Diego Simeone. I myself was like, if we were to get rid of Arteta, Diego Simeone would be the perfect replacement for him. And then I've changed my mind after today. I'm like,
I've never wanted him personally, but I see your point.
No, I know, and Cal doesn't want him either. I've always said, and I'm still going to be consistent, that I think that if we don't win Arteta, we probably should, just because we probably should move on from him, just because of the fact that this squad is just so good, and it kind of he's lost sort of the excuses. But the more and more this season goes on, the more and more I believe we're winning something, just because we've got such a big squad. Yeah. And the performance is getting better, and we're going to even talk about. I still want to talk about sort of the ceiling that is still. We keep talking about, like, all the players that are out, all the players who have not quite have met that performing, and we're going to talk about 2 key players. It's a great question. It's a great segue to the next 2 players on this list, who are obviously the 2 most marquee signings that we've made in the summer, and kind of where they have to go still. And I just feel like, I don't know if we're going to have this conversation. I know it's if he doesn't win a trophy. I just think he is. The more and more that we keep playing, I'm like, I can't find. I'm starting to run out of ways to think that we're not winning a trophy. My boss, I was on the phone to him today. He's a Liverpool fan, and he's saying, like, I just got to be honest. I just don't see anybody challenging you. I don't see anybody who can keep up with you guys, because there's no avenue really for you to drop off from, which is like it's been in the past season. In the past seasons, I had Liverpool fans telling me, like, well, what if you guys had a bit of an injury crisis? They were right. Last year we had a bit of an injury crisis. We dropped off. Oh, you guys don't really have much experiences in winning the title. City do. They're probably going to outlast you. That was true. But I feel like more and more and more, this team is creating experiences, learning from our failures and our disappointments. And I think we're just seeing a much more mature team, a team that's more got the grit between the teeth to go out and do it. The determination you can see is there, and the different ways of winning games, the different lineups you can play, the different tactics. I'm sorry, and I know that I'm upsetting the football gods. And I said I don't think that Arsenal's going to drop out at first the rest of the season because that's just the way I feel. Honestly, that's just the way I feel.
The only injury that would particularly get me a little bit worried is Zubimendi, just because how crucial he's become, and Norgard is not in his profile whatsoever. But I do think we could get over that. But for me as well, our title rivals haven't got anywhere near the depth as us. Like, Man City are so heavily reliant on Haaland scoring goals. They will have such a fall off if he gets injured or he's out for a period of time. Like, the amount of goals he's scoring, even if I think their second highest scorer is on 2 goals, and Haaland's on 24 goals this season in all comps. And then Liverpool.
24? Did you say 24?
I'm pretty sure they said on Sky on
I didn't know. Swear off, but fuck me. 24 goals in all comps.
Like, we spread the load, so even if we get a few injuries in different places, we've still got goal scorers. Whereas City are so heavily reliant on him that they're screwed if he gets injured. Obviously, Liverpool are not doing well even with a full squad. If they get any defensive injuries, they've got no depth there whatsoever. That makes me even more confident now. And especially even in Europe, what team is playing better than us right now? No one's got the consistency of us. We don't even concede shots on target. We've only conceded 3 goals all season. One was from Haaland. One was a world-class free kick.
But the Haaland one is the only open play one as well.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I just don't see who beats us. We're in such good form at the moment. The momentum with us, and we can create a big gap here. I think the hardest game we've got coming up in the league is Crystal Palace. We could create a gap here, especially when you're looking at the fixture list. Man City have to play Liverpool, vice versa. They've got far harder fixtures. We've gone through, everyone was saying at the start of the season, we had such a hard start that even Chelsea may be in front of us at the start of this season. We've come through such a hard start and we're flying. So I just don't see who, personally, I don't want to jinx it. I'll touch wood, I'll touch my desk, but I just don't see who's beating us at the moment.
Yeah. And Cal says, besides an injury crisis that takes out 10 players, I don't see why I wouldn't win something, honestly. Yeah, there you go. And then, of course, here comes Jesse. And I respect Jesse. At least he's consistent, like he's not hiding anywhere. He's very open about his Arsenal hatred. So I respect that, because there are other people who are like, oh, I think y'all are a good team. Whatever. I don't hate Arsenal, but I'm gonna say negative things on every single take and still say, oh no, but I actually don't hate you. But at least Jesse's out with it.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't think Arsenal will win either 2 major titles, which is UCL or Prem. I think FA Cup or Carabao Cup, to be honest. I'm just going to challenge you on that, Jesse, because I know you will probably follow up on it, which you're a good man. Can you show me the evidence of what you've seen so far in both the Premier League and Champions League to back up why you think that we won't win the Premier League or the Champions League? I'm just really interested to hear what you have to think. I want to hear the logic kind of behind it, because again, I'm not going to shut you out or shut you down, like everybody's opinions, and I'm just interested to see how everybody thinks about football. So I'm literally genuinely curious to see, what your reasoning is behind why you don't think that we could win either of them. Because for me, as Seb was just saying, I just feel like we've been clearly the strongest in both competitions so far this season. And then Cal goes, people were complaining that conceded 1 shot on target in our last 3 games, jokingly, of course. Yeah. Big up my missus. She's in the comment section. Give big Christy watching from the other side of the house. Love you, babe. What are you guys going to do if Arsenal win the league this season?
I genuinely don't know. Like, I was the last time we won the league, I was 6 years old, so I cried for about a week. It was one of the best. I think I'll go to the title parade. I'll be going down London. I'll be down there. But honestly, I'll just rattle everybody. It'll be so much fun. I'll be on the internet constantly all day. Everyone's going to hide because of Arsenal fans are going to be so... You think Arsenal fans are unbearable right now? Just wait until we actually win something. I can't wait. Honestly, can't wait. I've been dreaming of this moment for years. I need it to end. I want it to happen, and I think it will. But yeah, well, my girlfriend's only disappointed. Well, my fiance, she loves Ben White. Ben White's not getting any minutes at the moment, so she's a bit disappointed.
By the way,
I don't care.
if Christy's still in the chat, by the way, so Seb has just said that his fiance's favorite player is Ben White, right? What's your favorite player? Because I know the answer to it, but I just want everybody to know. Cal's response to Christy's question is party, and then Cal, Christy, I completely believe me and her are in sync on everything in life. She goes, Cal, you should fly to Melbourne. Which I agree. I mean, Melbourne's closer trip than Japan, and it's much cheaper. But what I would do if Arsenal win the league, honestly, and Christy knows this. Like, I watch games with my dad. We'd like to go to the pub, especially when Arsenal's on the cusp of winning the trophies, especially, we're in cup finals and stuff. And to be honest, we've been 20 years. Like, last time that Arsenal won the league, it was 2004. I was 12. And yeah, I wasn't necessarily as engaged with the club as much I wish I was at the time. But I just can't wait. I just want to hug my dad, to be honest. I just want to give him a high five, enjoy it, see the smile on his face, because he has been he's got a Highbury for years, season ticket holder for years. He obviously had to move out of the country. He's given his brother the ticket, which, by the way, I'm coming for, Ashley, when I come back to London, our family's tickets. But yeah, I just want to experience it with my dad, honestly. And yeah, I would cry, and I'm going to come on the terrace and be like, I told you so. And yeah. Oh man, it's going to be a tour of just, I'm going to do what Hassam did all summer, which is like basically act like I know everything about football and be just ultra cocky because yeah. And Christy goes, oh, good boy. And then heart. Oh, love you, babe. Oh, and yeah, Cal with me. Absolutely. I would honestly cry. No shame in that. But guys, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Jesse goes, oh, good guy, Anton. I appreciate that, Jess. Anyway, Jess, you haven't answered my question yet. So come back to that on that. In the meantime, let's talk about who you want to go with first. I'll let you call the shot. Eze or Gyökeres?
We'll talk about Eze first, just because everyone talked about Gyökeres. I think Eze has gone under the radar a bit. It was a really weird signing for me at first, because obviously he came off the back of Kai Havertz getting injured, which made no sense because they're completely different profiles of players. So clearly he wasn't a replacement for Kai Havertz, because obviously we mostly play Kai Havertz up front, unless he did want to play Kai Havertz as a midfielder this year. I don't know. We haven't seen Kai Havertz really play any minutes at all, really. So it was an interesting signing. But the thing is, I love about it is the passion that he has, because obviously he's an Arsenal fan. It's so hard getting a player like that at that quality who also supports your club, because it's just the raw ability he has, the passing ranges he's had, like some of the balls he was playing through yesterday. It's just been unbelievable. It's like Ødegaard getting injured last season was massive. The creativity dirt we had there. But it's like, I'm not worried at all about him getting injured, because I'm like, we got Eze. Like, it's just, I can't believe what reality that I'm living in right now. Watching Arsenal, obviously, as a teenager going up through, we were pants, right? Now I'm living in a situation where Ødegaard gets injured and we have Eberechi Eze there. It's unbelievable, honestly. The quality he's shown so far has just been, like, obviously he hasn't got the GA you'd like, but I think his overall play has just been unbelievable. Like, it's such a stark contrast from last season. The injuries killed us off last year. We're still picking up those injuries and we're still looking so good. So it's credit to Eze. He's put the shirt on, the weight of the shirt he's got. He just looks so good. Even when he has played out on the left, he can play in multiple positions. He covers us so much. One of the best signings. And it's obviously been a bit, I don't want Kai Havertz to get injured, but if that is true, that's what it took to sign him, then obviously that's the best injury we've ever had.
I know. Can you imagine if he was at Spurs?
Oh my God, it would kill me.
This was literally a day before this podcast was born. and I was actually having an absolute meltdown. This positive Anton was about to become a devil. Like, I was so upset. Like, I was in my chat with my brother and my dad, and I'm like, this is fucking disgraceful. Like our boards are hanging them heads in shame. Didn't even try to make a bid or try to hijack the deal. And then I wake up in the morning, he's an Arsenal player, and I'm like,
Oh, very beautiful.
on cloud 9. And me and Cal was like, we're starting the podcast tonight.
Yeah, I was
that
on
was
holiday
amazing.
when it happened, and I was just like, this is incredible. And I was even in a shopping mall in Portugal, and I was like, sorry. I said to my fiance, I was like, I need to hop on the stream right now. I need to get on this straight away, especially because it was like, we didn't just get one of the best like attacking midfielders in the league. We got him over Tottenham, because they were getting so excited.
And he's one of our own.
And yeah, exactly. So it's just like the passion he has, and he always gives 100%. And yeah, he's just such a quality player. And the fact that I think with Ødegaard is very reluctant to shoot, whereas Eze is constantly trying to get space to get a shot off. His shot numbers are really good. So once again, it's like another level of quality there. The floor is so high, and Ødegaard and him are such different players. It gives such a different quality we have, and it's just, yeah, obviously Ødegaard getting injured is not a good thing, but the him coming in, it's unbelievable, really. I couldn't wish for more. It's euphoric being an Arsenal fan right now. I have to pinch myself sometimes because I'm like, how have we got here? But yeah, I agree with Cal. Everyone was high of expectations, and he's lived up to his expectations so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, by the way, Cal, I'm going to read off Cal's one. He goes, as expectation 8 out of 10, reality 8 out of 10. I think I'm going to have a bit of a different take. And this is 100%, 1000% true. Cal goes, me and Anton postponed the pod. We were going to have a rage one day before. Yeah, we were going to literally have like our first pod was going to be explosive, like just going after the club for the Eze thing. And yeah, I literally had different topics. We went to bed, woke up, and because Cal couldn't come on because he was on Straight Facts earlier in that day, and he was super tired, which I can completely relate to now. All the late nights I've been doing, being on the terrace, and literally my brain like starts to go fuzzy, right? And Cal was having one of those nights. He's like, "Dude, I'm so tired. We can't do today. Let's do tomorrow." And yeah, we go to bed pissed off, wake up in the morning, I'm like, is this a dream? Amazing. Jesse's now answered our question, by the way. And then I want to get into my take on Eze. Jesse goes, why I think you guys won't win the league. It's not about your ability or quality, obviously. I just think mentally it's going to creep in. These Arsenal players might start feeling the pressure. When they see another come steaming behind them and just might make you crumble yet again. Look, fair enough, Jesse. And there's a lot of validity behind what you're saying, because we can get excited in October all we want to, but it is about, let's say, being in a position to be in April, May, to kind of get it over the line. And those games become, obviously, the pressure increases, and the closer and closer we get, and you start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, the more, you might get a little bit of the yips there, and it might start to feel a lot of pressure. I think it's value, and Arsenal need to pass that test. So if that's the reason why you think that Arsenal won't win the league, I can't argue on it. I just think that the second part of what you said here, though, I don't necessarily fully agree with, which is, I just think that I'm not worried about, even to be honest, the Man United game, I wasn't literally so desperate for United to win. I felt like the minute we just kind of got ahead, that as long as we take care of our business, and we've been so solid, that I'm not really worried about. I'm not looking over my shoulder of any of the teams. I'm not. Everyone's trying to tell me about City, and by the way, full respect to City, because I don't like being in a title race with them in general, but I just feel like this is different. I feel like the roles are reversed now. I feel like Arsenal is the juggernaut with all the depth, and that we can just kind of outlast everybody because we can switch the lineups. The difference between this city and those cities is that they had games with De Bruyne and Foden sometimes on the bench at an early kickoff, and they can bring him on when the game wasn't going well. Like, they had so many depths. Their second team could beat most people's first teams. And it's just not the case with Manchester City anymore. Like, I feel like that's us now. That's kind of how I feel with that.
It is something you can't argue about because we haven't got over the line. But the fact that we've already come into games like the Newcastle game where last season we couldn't cope. We've come from behind and won. We've gone to Fulham and managed to win. So there is indications that our mentality is getting to that level, but obviously it's a fair enough point. When people are so disingenuous and just say we're crap, then obviously, but at least the mentality thing has some substance to it. And we're not going to get over that criticism until we actually win something. It's impossible. But I do think the early signs is, with mentality-wise, we're doing really well. And even in that title race where we lost by 2 points, we didn't lose because we crumbled under the pressure. We lost just because City was so good. Like, we lost, one game in the back end of that season to Aston Villa, obviously drew to Man City, but we were relentless. It wasn't the pressure made us fall off. It was just Man City were better.
Yeah, but to your point, right? This is why we're getting gassed about the other season. And I wonder if you agree. I know Cal agrees because we've spoken about this verbatim so many times over and on a loop. That start to that season when we were trying to fit in Havertz in different positions and we were dropping points kind of like here and there. I remember Fulham at home earlier on in the season. We had that really poor run like before New Year's. We lost to West Ham, then we lost to Fulham on back-to-back games. We had lost to that Newcastle one as well in that December there. And I think there are a few other ones in there that it was a poor run. And we went into that Liverpool game at the start of, literally, this is the one that kicked off that winning run. And we were like, if we have any chance of being in this race, we have to beat Liverpool today. Right. And then that's when we won that game. And then we kicked on and we won like basically every game except for Villa at home and City away, which was a draw. We had an insane run of consistency. I still think that this team is capable of that type of consistency, but now we're coupling that with a consistent start to the season, which that season did not have.
No. Well, I remember that period because I went to the first game back in the New Year, January. We had Crystal Palace and we absolutely smashed them. We beat them 5-0, and that was really
that was the Eddie. Was that the Eddie hat trick? That was against Sheffield United.
Yeah, Sheffield. Yeah, Gabriel scored a brace in that game, but it was just kick-starting that. But we've such a hard start, and we've come through it with flying colours. Everyone said that start was going to kill our season. Even Hassam said Arsenal won't win in the league if they lose to Manchester United. And people gave us
ultimate
no respect.
Karma, by the way. They lost to Manchester United. I can't.
No one gave us respect for beating United at all. No one gave us respect, but yet they've gone and beaten Liverpool and Chelsea. So clearly, people underestimated that win at the start of the season to get that done at Old Trafford. So I think, I've not had this much faith in us winning anything for a very long time, even last season, because we didn't really have that squad depth there. But I just can't see. I can't see what goes wrong, really, and I just don't think City have so many holes, and so do Liverpool, and we just don't have those.
Well, Jesse says, and by the way, I got to get my essay points in. We're almost at 1 hour 40. But Jesse goes, I believe for Arsenal to win the league, they need a season like Liverpool did last year where nobody challenged and just momentum and no pressure just took them through the season. And look, I kind of want that. I'm not going to lie. I would absolutely want that. And I kind of feel like it's starting to shape that way because, Jesse, you got to be honest, right? Liverpool losing 4 in a row is not putting the scare into Arsenal. They're not putting pressure on us. In fact, you could argue the other way around. They were 5 points clear. They had a chance that weekend. Everyone thought Arsenal might lose to Liverpool. They'd like to lose to Newcastle away. Liverpool, if they beat Palace earlier, Arsenal lose to Newcastle away, there'll be an 8-point gap. They'll be title race will be over. And we've now turned a 5-point deficit now into a 4-point lead in 3 weeks. So if anything, Arsenal was the team. That's what you're missing here, Jesse. And by the way, your point, I really fair play to you because you're actually giving me something rather than a lot of the waffle that a lot of the other rival fans do, and they can't actually talk. And you actually are giving me legitimate reasons that actually have, logic behind it and respect to that. But I think the point you're missing here is that Arsenal's the team that's doing that. That Arsenal has got the fuel in the tank that the other teams don't have. And as Seb is saying, City right now is the team that's pushing and they're winning. But one thing that kind of like a light bulb that kind of flipped for me, which shows me the levels here, is that City have got a couple of dominant wins this year away at Wolves and at home against Burnley. And now our dominant win of the season is against Atletico Madrid, one of the best, most pragmatic sides in all of Europe, and we spanked them in 13 minutes. Like, that's our dominance. So for me, it's just like, and you haven't even seen the best Arsenal. And this is now, that gets me segue finally to my Eze thing. Eze has actually not reached the expectations so far for me. And it's not a criticism, because I see the Brecce Eze that's a cup winner, that single-handedly dragged Crystal Palace last year, that has been one of the most exciting players in the league. And we've only seen like a small percentage of that. We've seen that in glimpses, but not fully. Like, for instance, today, that shot that goes that he takes, and then it all of a sudden loops over the keeper and it almost hits the bar. Like, I just want that shot to go in. That shot's not going in for him yet. That's very similar to like the goal he scored against us last year. It also like took a wicked deflection because he's just creates shit out of nowhere, and he's dropping a shoulder and he's beating 2-3 man. Like, we haven't seen that Eze at Arsenal yet. So for me, like, I just think Eze's got so much more to go, which is the point that I kind of want to bring up here about Arsenal, which is like, and then the next one we're going to talk about, Victor Gyökeres, which is they haven't reached the full peak of what they could bring to this football club, and we're still clear top by 3 points. We're perfect 3 for 3 in the Champions League, and we're playing it like just above our floor until today, where we push that level a little bit higher. But that's just for me. Like, I think there's so much more room for improvement for Eze. I haven't seen the Eze that I was super excited dancing around my house to sign yet. And,
Well, I think
and the points, yeah.
Yeah, no, carry on with what you're saying, Karen.
No, you go on, because obviously you're responding.
The thing is that I think should scare people is we're not even at our best. As you were saying, like Eze, Gyökeres, everyone else, we've got steps to go up, and we've got one of the, I think we got the 19th, well, near the bottom of the league, easiest runs coming up, so we can create that gap. Is what Jesse was saying. He says we need to. I think can. So there's scope to go, really.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the last one on this game, and then I want to go back a little bit to Real Madrid, to Atletico Madrid, and then we'll just kind of end the stream. Victor Gyökeres, reality versus expectation, because obviously this is the polarizing one, because I've had different answers on this one, and I want to hear your Victor Gyökeres take. Finally, reality versus expectation, and be honest. You don't,
I think I was expecting more from him on a goal scoring point of view. I wasn't fully expecting him to hit the ground running, just because we had such a change of style with him in. We haven't played with an out-and-out striker since Aubameyang, so it was going to take time. I was expecting a little bit more, but I think he's got 7 GA in all comps so far. It's not like he's been bad, but he's been good in areas where I wasn't as expecting as much. Where his hold-up play's been so good, he's bringing others into play. His link-up play's been really good. He's given space to our wingers. Like, Saka's getting so much more space now because Gyökeres is getting doubled up on. There's a reason why everyone's praising Saka. There's a reason why Saka is making more dribbles, taking on.
There's a reason why Martinelli's all of a sudden found form again, by the way.
There's people are just like, oh, suddenly these other players are playing really well. No, there's a reason for it. It's because Gyökeres is occupying space. He takes up 2 defenders. His physicality is so important to our side now that it's giving space to everybody else. So in one way, you can say, yeah, he's not hit expectations on the goal front. But the way Alan Shearer was talking about him on Match of the Day was perfect for me, where he's doing so much for the squad that the goals necessarily haven't really been needed so far. I do hope and expect in the future that the goals start coming, because we will need him, especially in games like the Liverpool game, where we need someone to step up and score us a goal. He couldn't do that. But more and more games go on, he's getting more and more shots. So I think he will get better, but obviously so far I don't think we can say he's been a full success just because we brought him in to score goals, and he hasn't necessarily done that to the fullest effect. But I've been fairly happy with him. I would say I think the expectations was an 8, and I think he's hitting a 7 maybe. He's doing a lot more than what people think he can do. Is obviously people aren't going to give him the credit until he starts scoring more goals.
Yeah. Cal goes, Gyökeres' expectation was 9 out of 10. Yeah, I know Cal and I were both big Victor Gyökeres fans. The reality has been 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. And that's basically kind of reflecting on what Cal was saying last week. And he goes, but if he continues from Atletico, that will rise. And that's sort of my thing here. I felt that today, and I know people can. I know. Ash was in here earlier trying to delegitimize the goals. But tapping or not, I just felt like Victor Gyökeres has just been sort of just like on the edge. Like at the beginning, yeah, it was a bit frustrating. It was a bit clunky on the ball. He was just not used to playing in this system. I think he was also very excited to sort of kind of play for the Arsenal, and like his head was kind of going ahead of his body.
I think he was overdoing it sometimes because he was kept running and running and running, but he was just overdoing and overthinking.
He was just a bit out of sync. He got overthinking the Premier League's physicality, getting into grapples with all the players, and like it was a bit ugly. But all of a sudden, I felt like just before heading into the international break, this was without the goals. All of a sudden, I'm seeing Gyökeres pop up and making the runs he did at Lisbon, pop up into space, but also feeling comfortable. This is the difference. This is what Arteta was saying in this press conference. His role at Sporting Lisbon was very much the talisman of the team. Everything ran through him. He came to Arsenal, and it's like it's a different thing. He's expected to do a little bit more unselfish work. Again, be sort of that, that guy who works behind the scenes, but not necessarily the main actor who's in the show. And yeah, he's opening up spaces for everybody else. As I said today, I said he's like a tight end in the NFL, where tight ends get about maybe 1 or 2 catches on average in the game, but the rest of the time they're literally just taking up safeties and cornerbacks to open up spaces for the receivers to be able to run their routes and take defenders off of them. It's sort of like a deflecting, and they make blocks. Like they do a bunch of stuff in the game that it really impacts the game without necessarily catching the touchdown passes. And that's kind of like what Gyökeres has been doing today. And what I loved about, I don't know what commentator you had for the game, but for the one that we had internationally, he pointed out even from the jump, all the things in commentary that Gyökeres is doing. So he was like, Gyökeres here is making a great, block off to allow Saka to run into space. Oh, look at him. He'll allow Martinelli into space. He's literally telling you as the game is going on, which is a lovely illustration of the game. I've never really heard this commentator before, but I hope he does more of Arsenal's games. I don't know if you're watching the same stream as me.
In the UK, it was on Prime. So I think it was John Champion, maybe. I can't quite remember.
No, it wasn't John Champion then for us.
I think the commentators have been fairly kind to him. A lot of the games are noted on the Alan Shearer. A lot of the commentators are noting on what he is doing, which is fair play to them. Even Gary Neville has been speaking to it at Carragher. But I think they have been fairly kind, the commentators, but you want them to be impartial anyway. Obviously, they criticise him when he needs criticisms, because at times he has needed some criticism. He hasn't been perfect. But yeah, the game, I thought he had the perfect all-round game last night. His hold-up play was great. He got man of the match. Maybe that's a bit kind. I thought Saka was probably...
I was so happy for him, to be honest.
But it was so good to see him smile. The relief on his face when he actually scored, for me, was great. I think he looked a bit disappointed when he came off, because I think he wanted to go get that hat-trick. But the standing ovation he got, he fully deserved it.
No, I think it's great momentum, by the way, to go into the weekend with the Crystal Palace, by the way, all of the spotlight is going to be on Eze for that game. All the narratives, all of the questions, everything, which is, I kind of like for Gyökeres. So he's finally started to hit form. And the next game we're going to play, every camera is going to be on Eberechi Eze. And that's going to be great for him. I think that's perfect, because I think he needs that deflection and that comfort and less of that pressure. But
this is going to be a weird thing to say, but I was genuinely thinking that I personally think Crystal Palace away is a harder game than Atletico Madrid at home for me, especially with the form Mateta is in. Mateta bullies centre-backs. Like, even against the weekend, he scored 3 goals, but he could have easily scored 5 or 6. So I think that's going to be more of a test for us than Atleti at home, genuinely, to be honest.
Because they're at home, though. It's still at home, though.
Oh, are we at home? Okay, that does make a difference. But I think I was genuinely more nervous for that game than the Atletico game, personally. But yeah, I think it will be interesting. It's just keeping Mateta quiet really for Palace, but Palace are such a good side. It will be a tough one. I know our run up is easy, but this is definitely the hardest one of that. But hopefully, I will take a 1-0 right now, personally, against Crystal Palace. They're a good side. They're not to be taken light of, and Mateta is in such good form. Overall, he's probably been the second or third best striker in the league this year.
I think
Mateta,
that's going to
so-
be an eye opener if we keep a clean sheet against Palace out on the back of how they did last week. You got Mateta scoring hat tricks. He could have scored a fourth, and then all of a sudden, then they come to the Emirates and we shut it down.
Yeah, that will speak.
I think you're going to
volumes.
start to see this. That will speak volumes. Jesse, keep going. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Atletico is not a scrub team, dude. Are you been watching their games? Because they've been playing amazing. They literally just beat Real Madrid 5-2 on the weekend, and they really put the scare into Liverpool when they came to Anfield as well. But yeah, and by the way, Diego Simeone is one of the best managers in the world. One of my favorite managers because I love the type of tactician he is. That's what I was really looking forward to this game. But you really
just sneak Chelsea in there at the end. He's gone Bayern Munich, Real Madrid,
Barcelona. I don't want to make a comment on Chelsea because we've yet to play them this season. So I don't want to if I sit here and be like, I'm not afraid of Chelsea. Don't count Chelsea in there, and then they go and beat us. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to keep my powder dry in terms of that. But Bayern Munich, while we're playing. But wait, so let me see this logic, right? So Real Madrid is going to be a real challenge, but Atletico just pumped Real Madrid, and they're not.
Yeah, make it make sense, man. Well, Jesse's consistent with his hatred.
Yeah, I know. Again, Man City. Again, we played Man City. Cal goes, Saka's definitely had more space this season, and for him, Martinelli is man of the match. But big up to Gyökeres. For me, there's been so many options for man of the match that I felt like there was none.
Pretty much everyone could have been really.
Miles Lewis-Skelly was fucking phenomenal. Zubi was amazing. As I said, Zubi was running the show. Zubi was Spain Zubi in this game. Unbelievable. Eze was amazing in this game. By the way, one thing nobody's spoken about is in the lead up to the big goal that Gyökeres scored that finally tore the lid off of the goal, that ball from Eze into him to begin with was absolutely awesome. And yeah, Eze was awesome, was great today. And it's just kind of the appetizer before he gets to take on his former club at the weekend. But for me, Gyökeres has not met the expectation because I thought Gyökeres would fire 30 plus goals in the season. And maybe I was a little bit in dreamland and he's come to that reality that he does need to settle into the league. But I think Gyökeres will come good. I think the fact that he's now scored, we scored his first, and then 2 or 3 minutes later, he scored his second, shows you the mental, what's it taping, whatever, it's been lifted off of him, the pressure lifted off of his shoulders. Anyway, we have to wrap up the show in a second. Jesse goes, the reason why I put Chelsea in there is because we need to be realistic. Chelsea are more of a cup team than a league team. We have a tendency to do well in cups, so that's why I put them in. Yeah, look.
I agree with that. Chelsea
I agree, but if you put Chelsea in there, though, you have to put Spurs in there, which you didn't put on the list.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again,
Chelsea are more likely to win the Champions League than they are the Premier League. But I don't think they're going to win either. But I do see what he means. They are built for cups, really. They won 2 cups last year, so you can't just go... They're scrubs. They did beat PSG, so there is some evidence there. But
I'll be honest, if we draw Chelsea in the Champions League,
or
compared to some of the other options, I'm not going to be sweating it. Sorry, Jesse. It's just, I just won't be because of our recent record against them. When's the last time that we lost to Chelsea?
Was it the Lukaku?
If you go off the last couple seasons, you get a draw away and win at home. We're going through.
Yeah, easy.
So, anyway, of course. Anyway, we're gonna end this in a second. Just final question, Seb, for you.
Yep.
Was this game against Atletico Madrid finally the game where Arsenal started to figure things out, and it's sort of like that light turned on, aha moment that starts to put our season into full drive? Are we going to start to see the best of Arsenal now?
I think it's going to help. I think the fact that a lot of other teams, as said earlier in the show, Fulham and stuff, they didn't step out even when we went 1-0 up. They were quite happy just to sit there with that. Whereas Atletico, it shows how dangerous we are that Atletico even tried to be a little bit progressive and we butchered them, completely obliterated them. But I think we have that aura now where teams are scared of us. We've created that for ourselves and we're dealing with it perfectly well. We're finally finding Gyökeres in the spaces he wants to. So I think this could kickstart us to go through. And let's be honest, we haven't been at our best and we're already top of the league. So if I'm everyone else, I'm worried. We just battered one of the best teams in Europe. So I think hopefully this can kick on. Gyökeres is growing better and better by the game.
Martinelli, by the way, Cal makes a great point. Martinelli is now starting to fire.
Yeah, he's playing like he did a few seasons ago, but I think that is because of Gyökeres and he's getting far more space. And I think the thing is with Martinelli, because he's got competition of the Eze, of Trossard, he's kicking on. He has to play well to keep his space. So I think we're utilising him well. Obviously, Martinelli's getting a lot more minutes in the cups and things, and then he's coming on late in games against tired legs. But we've got so much different quality in the squad that we can rotate and play different ways. So when teams come up and go up against us and go, we don't know how Arsenal are going to play. So they could play on a transition and have more pace with Martinelli. They could play more technical and bring in Trossard. We have Eze in there as well. When Havertz comes back, we have another dimension. So the fact we're not playing at our best so far, and then we come up with that last night, yeah, it's going to be an exciting season for sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited. And Cal goes, we already have had our aha moment. That was the Newcastle win, in my opinion. You know what? I think there are two different types of aha moments.
They showed two different things, I think.
Yes. The one thing we showed at Newcastle, which is like, we are different now this season. We are going to face our demons and we're going to overcome our demons. We're going to do something now that we haven't done in the past season. And today was all the 8 signings that we've signed and all the depth, the greatest squad in Europe, but yet where the attack didn't really kind of gel. We're kind of missing that final piece of it, which are kind of like our finishing in front of goal. And all of a sudden we've combined a lot of really good play, a lot of domination with burying teams and putting them back in the net against a great side. It was like something that was a volcano ready to erupt, and it erupted all over Atletico Madrid. You know, they were missing the heat from their shower, and we gave them the heat on the pitch at the end of it. Anyway, Jesse writes, Antonio, bro, we love the UCL. If you draw us, you won't be sweating. Just remember, teams always doubt Chelsea, and that's when we are at our best. So keep thinking that will be a walkover. I never said walkover. I never said the walkover. All I said was, if you go through the past seasons, we've drawn away at you and we've won at home. That's a formula to going through in the UCL in a 2/2 legs. That's all me and Seb said.
Yep. Oh well.
We didn't say we walk over
you. Boys, and he's got to back him, and I respect that. But I'm not personally worried about Chelsea. I think it'll be very interesting when we do play them. But I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I hope when we win, get on some shows. I hope Jesse's still backing his boys, even if we do win. But we'll be back on it. Even if Chelsea do win, it's not the end of the world. They're still so far behind us anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, but I do want to win a trophy. I definitely want to win a trophy. So Jesse stops telling me how Arsenal's never won a trophy. I don't want another season where they've won a trophy and we haven't. I don't want it. Anyway, guys, that has been the show. It's been actually a really, really fun show. Amazing show. Thanks everybody who's been active in the chat. Thanks to Cal, obviously, but he's got a little bit of a, more of a incentive to be active in the chat than the others. Because he's generally up on the screen. He was on the screen. Thanks to Jesse. Honestly, you've been here from start to finish. Love for you, bro. Even though you've been playing a little bit of the villain in here, I love it. Ash coming in here as well. David came in here as well. Of course, I'm gonna get a mouthing if I don't mention her. Christy for coming on the show and contributing as well. The questions that you brought in were really awesome. But yeah, guys, make sure you're liking. Hit a like on the video if you're watching this, guys. Thanks again, Seb, for coming on today. Honestly,
thank you for having me. It's been fun. So.
Yeah, dude, this is not the last time we want to have you on Fire Them Cannons. Trust me. And we want to do it with Cal in the building in studio where he's not breaking up in the middle of his points, because he was making some great points there, and then he was kind of breaking up a little bit on the streets of Japan, streets of Tokyo. But yeah, everybody, it's been an amazing stream, guys. By the way, before we go, Crystal Palace, what's your prediction, Seb?
We have battered them quite a lot in the past. If I was going to see the game, I'd be I think I'll be happy to come out with a 2-0 win. I think 2-0.
Yeah, I think. See, I'm somewhere between 1-0 to 3-0, and I think you hit the perfect spot there.
Yeah, 2.
Cal obviously has got to give his weekly prediction. 2-0 to Arsenal. Yeah, I think I'm going to make this a full house here. 2-0. I think Eze scores and Gyökeres scores.
Yeah,
Eze has to score for me. Eze has to score for me, and I think Gyökeres keeps going on with, the momentum that he picked up from the midweek, and we keep a clean sheet.
Yep, easy peasy.
Yeah, and I actually think the 2 goals happened in the second half. It just kind of feels like that's the way it's been going recently. Yeah. I would love to score a first half goal, but yeah, we'll see. We'll keep it moving. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Anton and Seb out, and Cal, by the way. Cal's in the chat. He's still and still. We got the comments still keep going. Jesse, great show, guys. Jesse. Thanks, bruv. Thanks, bruv. And Chrissy goes, to Liverpool fans, worry about Salah before you worry about Saka, mate. Yeah. Chrissy has to listen to all of the shit that I just put up against the wall before I come on the terrace. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, is this a good idea to say or not a good idea to say? No, that would be terrible. Don't say that. and Cal agrees with Christy. He goes 100%. Anyway, guys, that's all from us. Thanks you. Dude, thanks so